late start. We'll call the November 21st, 2024 City of Brentwood Architectural Review Board order. Carl Carlin,
Here.
Foreman, here. Paul Turner. October 17th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Old business, none. New business, 86. Rosalie. Come up and tell us about your project while I pull up your drawings.
I'm Jason. I work with Shea Construction and Design. Our job at 8618 Rosalie, we are turning basically her unusable garage into a library for her. So what we're going to be doing is adding a dormer instead of the garage door and making it more of a living space. She likes to read.
That, and we have front elevation.
That's the dormer right there. I'll be brick to match, siding to match, white vinyl windows to match.
What's happening to the driveway? Just
Stays.
stays.
It's a parking spot for single lady, so that's where she'll be parking.
Any questions from anyone in the public? Do we still have anybody online? Nobody online? Okay.
I have no questions.
I have no questions. I think we have materials noted.
Yeah, there's keynotes with most of which they match existing.
Yep.
Infill to match. We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Carl Carlin,
Aye.
Matt Foreman, yes.
Yes.
Whatever. Aye, yes.
Yes.
All right, you're approved.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm speaking fancy.
Thank you, guys.
You are being fancy. All right, 8832 Moritz, new residence.
John Solthouse with Kingbridge Homes. So we're proposing to tear down the existing home and build this new house here.
Side of the street am I looking at? Is it
It's
this one,
across
John?
the street. Yeah.
That one? Why is this familiar, besides all the ones that are down the street?
There was a previous builder that had come in and got approved and then walked away from the deal.
Is this the one with the easement on the site for the sewer? Got it, okay.
While you're scrolling around, I did take a look at it earlier, and it's sort of as expected. I didn't see if the materials were noted. Are they?
We have them, yeah, they're
have 'em.
natural stone on the front, siding, white on the vertical and on the siding. Or no, actually, it's gray, excuse me.
And is it noted on the drawing, or are we going to note it tonight? Because sometimes we have to do that.
We submitted a sheet that had all the colors on
We
it,
did, okay. I didn't see that, I'm sorry.
and we had pictures.
In the packet.
So there's the stone, the siding, shingles. I have it open over here, good, all right. All right, so it looks like you're back a little bit, whoop, wrong file, from the setback line. Or is this I can't remember if this is a function of the easement from what we saw before.
Well, the easement does come across diagonally across the building line. I guess it could be pulled forward a little bit.
No.
What?
With the garage the way it is, I'm happier with it back further.
I think one of the situations why the other builder hadn't figured out, but the reason we're doing the narrower house is that for the MSD easement, not even a window well, gas meter, nothing can go into that. So just to be able to have the gas meter on that side, you have to be narrow.
Challenging.
Very challenging. All get more and more challenging.
As mentioned before, you've been before us several times, so you know all the things we ask about, like the depth of the porch, the window trim. You've changed up the gables. The stone does wrap the corner, and it looks like the stone is also all the way on that side of the garage, which is nice.
Yeah.
And we have the materials, so,
We kept the roof pitch down too.
and there's definitely other two-story houses in the
There's like
immediate area,
4 or
right?
5 right across the
Yeah,
street. Yeah.
so.
So partially because it looks like you're 8 feet back from the 25-foot building line. I'd prefer not to see the full 4 foot between the front porch and the eave line of the, showing up right here. But with his site constraints, I'm not sure how much we can push and pull.
I think I think we have that port, and I would be fine to move the porch out, but the porch is is at a 312, which we can't
Right.
go any lower than that.
And you're gonna get into that, the egress windows above.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of maxed out at the bottom of that window with the trim.
That's why having it set further back from the property line takes that garage behind, you know,
The
this,
front of
this
everything.
neighborhood, we've seen a lot of redevelopment lately. So I would expect more in the future. But, you know, these smaller homes on either side compared to all the ones being built across the street.
It looks as if the porch on this one is actually usable,
Correct.
because sometimes they get really shallow and you can't even put a chair or anything, so.
Yeah. Are there any questions or comments from the public on this submission? Yes.
So I think you have to come to the microphones, thank you.
My name is Mike Conley. I live directly behind that property. And I submitted some discovery that I had this last rain we had. The backyard was full of water. I had 3/4 full of water. Did you guys get those in your emails?
It's in
Does-
the packet, his email.
There's videos, there's pictures. My concern, my wife and I's concern is if they elevate the slope of the ground from that yard to the neighbors, I'm one of the neighbors, are we gonna have the water problems that they're having in their yard now? And this was discussed the last time. The original, the existing owner or the representative of the owner's deceased. He did a water study, and I actually talked to the guy out there doing, they dug a hole, they were in there, dumping water in there, timing it. But the videos and the pictures that I sent you isn't like dumping a 1 or 5 gallon bucket in a hole and watching it drain. I know we had a lot of water during this rainstorm. We're aware of that, especially with the Brentwood problem down the hill. But there was so much water in that yard, 3 hours later, that water was still there. So if the water is allowed to run off of that property, is it gonna run onto my yard or the yard next to me? The problem with that elevation, that's probably the lowest spot on both blocks that holds water now. So, I mean, that could be a problem with the neighbors, the next door neighbor, myself, and the neighbor next to me. So that's your only concern. We don't want to stop the project. That house it needed to be torn down years ago. We like to see it go. But we also don't want to create a problem for our property behind us and the neighbors next to us, because we're all trying to navigate this water issue, especially like you explained just a few minutes ago. The development in that area is ongoing. So basically, when you build a house and you double its size and you shed water from that house, it's gonna go somewhere. They won't let you put it in the sewer. You can put it in the storm sewer, but I don't know if that's, if you could even do that at this point, because the water that's coming off of that house now, it's not in the sewer, and that the house, I think now is half the size of the house the potential that you're gonna build. So I just wanted to address that. The only other question I have, if this review board doesn't address this, would it then be the building commission that would address something like this? As far as I'm not a hydrologist. I'm sure people that build are hydrologists and they have their resource. If you don't address this at this point in time, then would it be the building commission that would actually have to address something like this?
My old answer when this came up for
Right.
years has been that's beyond the purview of this board. And
Okay.
it technically still is. I don't know what's going on with my stuff up here, but, all right. But I would say, because we're here, and I lost my screen. Because we're here and because there's still an annotation there, we'll get back to Mr. Solthouse in a minute. The city's new ordinances, and I believe you came to was it you or your next door neighbor that came to the last meeting?
I came to the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, it
so
was a
the-
different builder, I believe, at the time. Yeah,
Correct.
right.
But the city now has an ordinance that the building officials do enforce.
Okay.
Because there's a 250 square foot trigger.
200.
Just 200, not 250? So anything that anyone changes anywhere in your entire neighborhood over 200 square feet, so 10 by 20, the size of a parking space, they have to get a permit from the city that would include a stormwater study.
Okay.
So that will be part of the approval process for your permit. On the other hand, since we're looking at this, John, you still have this proposed gravel trench. Is that something you want to talk about tonight?
I did get an email from Whitney that day. That was the day that all of Manchester Road was underwater. We got 10 inches of water, so she sent me an email at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were there at 4 o'clock and took pictures, and there was no standing water, so it dissipated within 2 hours, or from whatever she sent the email from me. But in
So
ter-
there will be a stormwater study. That's a requirement for
Correct.
the city. So you're addressing a condition that will formally be addressed through the civil stormwater review, what I was after in the short term is, it looks like a rain garden
I
or
can
a-
explain that.
Yeah, let's talk
So-
about that piece.
So basically, any difference in the impervious area between what the existing house has in terms of the house, the driveway and everything else to what we build, we have to build a rain garden or a storm, a gravel infiltration trench to pick up that different rain. So the gutters, anything that's impervious over and above what the existing condition is, will be stored underground.
Okay. Similar to what they did the parking lot, the new parking lot where the library's gonna be.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
That was something that they basically had to address at that point.
Target's got a big
So
one too.
They will be addressing.
Correct, we have that, that's what that, you see where that C
Right.
proposed? That's a 9 foot by 9 foot by 3 foot deep
Okay.
gravel trench.
And as far as your discussion then with whoever designed it, you're moving it back 3 feet?
Oh,
3 feet from the
Sir,
curb?
You gotta go back up to the microphone.
yeah.
So you're moving it back 3 feet from the curb, the house itself, because of the easement, the MSD easement, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, you're pushing it back from the building line on Moritz,
he could build, I'd say 5 feet closer to the curb
okay?
than he's got it shown now, but you've pushed it back just to stay out of that easement.
So here again, my question is, when you incorporate that footage, that footprint, and you move it back, and this concrete basically, or, some yard in the front, now you've got a driveway in the back. I just hope that the square footage, the drip line of the roof, the size of the roof, and all the extra concrete that's gonna displace the water, it's gonna run off. If you elevate the ground, if you put a catch basin somewhere, it's gonna run somewhere, it's gonna leave. I mean, I'm not a hydrologist, but it's gonna seek the lowest spot. And if it goes from, the ground line now, and if it all runs back to the back, is that catch basin gonna be towards the back of the property?
In the back in the yard, but I mean,
So
the water in the front's gonna go to the street. The water, there's certain gutters that are referenced on the side of the house that are labeled on the stormwater that go to that underground storage. They're
Okay.
piped directly to it.
Okay,
So the certain portions of the roof will go directly underground to that area.
okay, so it's gonna be underground, it won't be surface
Oh, no,
water? Because otherwise, if it's on the surface, you know where it's gonna go.
I understand what you're saying.
It's gonna go through the top, and it's gonna be in my yard or my neighbor's yard.
Well, there's
Okay.
no physical way that the water can get in your yard because you're a foot and a half higher than my lot.
But here again, if you elevated it, it could.
Well,
That was
we're
another
not- we're
question.
not
Okay,
doing that, yeah.
that's another question.
Another thing, just, we spoke with the neighbor to the left.
Right,
There's
Jim,
Jim.
Right.
Super nice guy, but he has behind his garage, and we'll dig it out a little bit, but he has a bunch of old spoils from, I don't know if it's from his garage or whatever, that
Right.
that's really where the water is supposed to be going through. So I think when we just kind of dig out I don't know if it's from an old fence or the garage or whatever, but it's about this much higher. When we just kind of level that out, I think the water will dissipate.
well, you say dissipate, I know where it's gonna go. My neighbor, 89-year-old neighbor, Al Rue at 8825, it goes in his driveway then. We've had this problem before they
So-
did.
But I can't control.
No, I'm
water
not, no,
from
I'm saying,
going
but
downhill.
if you divert it from one aspect, it's gonna go another aspect, and it's gonna end up in another. So I'm just saying.
I
we've
believe
had-
your design intent is to divert to your gravel French drain.
Correct, from the roof,
Okay.
yes.
into the street.
So,
I'm
and
talking
help
about
me
any
with,
other water that comes, because I'm any other water that comes from the other 10 lots above me
Right.
is gonna flow through or go to mine, but my roof water, my extra impervious area is going underground.
Okay. And
so help me with this, that's a little behind. There's a heavy dotted line, there it goes. There's a heavy dotted line over the footprint of the new house. Is
That's
that,
the part of the roof that's over and above and the driveway, that's the additional. So the heavy dotted line is the additional impervious area that all that surface area is going into C, which is the underwater detention.
so I was trying to benchmark, you're still 64 feet off of the back property line. So you're well within zoning. So as far as our architectural review board, we're pretty much at the limit of what we have control over. We're gonna have to, further conversations are more than welcome, but it's those folks over there for the building permit, not the architectural review
And I
board.
appreciate that. Like I said, I want that house gone.
That's,
My wife and I
Terrible.
want a new house here. We've been here 50 years.
it's rough.
That should have been knocked down 30 years ago. We want that thing gone, but then we also don't want it, you know, a problem with, in years past, we've been here 50 years.
Yeah.
We had water coming up out of the sanitary sewer because of all the, you know, everybody's, you know, the rain and all the stuff was going on.
Cool.
We don't want to start that again. I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years there. I'm 71 years
I was
old.
gonna say, you look,
I don't want to start this over again.
Yeah,
you
no, I
know?
get it.
So
I get
I
it.
appreciate your input.
okay, sure.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Let me add something to that is, when they design these, all, as you talked about, the impervious areas will be included. So if the driveway's extended over what was already there, that will be included in the hydraulic, engineering on this. They'll have to have, the city has a plan that they can use up to 2,000 square foot. If it's over 2,000, then they will need, an engineer to design that also. And they'll have to meet the requirements set in the ordinance by the city.
So it looks, I
I'm just-
scaled it, we look like we're 3'7"-ish, 4 foot, we'll call it, back from the property line. And you're about 8'7", maybe 9 feet back from the houses on either side. Yes,
Yes, but the zoning regulation is a 25-foot front yard setback,
correct.
and they're showing they're at 20, is that a 6 or 8.5? So they can't, I just wanted to indicate the correct zoning.
Interesting, because this, yeah, I'm scaling it at 3'7" off of the 25-foot building line. So that would be,
28.5.
that would be,
28, okay, that's 28.
that'd be
okay.
28.7 by my
So-
scale, so 28.6,
So it could
28.5.
only, yeah, it's only 3 feet off of the zoning.
Okay.
I don't have any
Feet off of the
questions.
zoning, but it looks like from the survey, the houses on either side might be non-conforming conditions.
Correct.
So we're about 9 feet back from the non-conforming conditions.
Is there anybody online? So I have no further questions, and I would move to approve as submitted.
I'll second. Taking the roll, Carl Carlin?
Yes.
Matt Foreman? Yes.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, back to our agenda. 82 Whitehall Court. Come tell us about your project.
Hello. So I'm the homeowner, my wife Jen and I'm Eric. Eric Fridley, homeowners at 82 Whitehall Court. We're looking to demolish a four-season Florida room off the back of the house, basically turn it into a master ensuite with a new deck attached to it, and the roof would extend and cover both structures.
How is it showing? That is lagging bad. Excuse me, I'm having, it's not my night apparently. All right, so I was looking for you on Google Earth. Side am I on?
We're at the front of the street, we're all the way to the back.
Oh, it says two, my keyboard bit me again. 82, there we go.
Yep, that's it. Old photo, but.
Google Earth is not our friend some days. There we go. All right, so back to, done with that one. All right, so you're coming off the back. Is there a demolition plan? There it is.
Yep.
Four-season room, deck, and it looks like nothing based on this other street view is gonna be visible at all from the street.
Nothing, no, and the roof line, there's some interesting geometry going on, because there's 3 different roof lines right there, but we're gonna take it to its lowest point, so you don't see anything from the front, basically.
Do appreciate the three-dimensional view, thank you.
Yeah.
Helps understand the roof lines.
I did review earlier, and I believe the materials are all noted. There's lots of match existing, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna match the existing siding that's on the garage. It's a 9-inch cedar lap that's all getting torn off and replaced with probably LP smart side, just same smooth siding.
Sections,
The only thing I saw that we
there we go.
often ask about would be a lattice under the deck. We often ask about that.
So we're not gonna do any lattice or anything like that, because there'll be windows in the new foundation. There's also an egress window, looking at that picture on the left side.
Oh, there.
Yes.
Sometimes we ask because there's a, depending on how high it is, there's a chance that things get stored or something unsightly happens. If windows would be a different situation, so.
Yeah, and the pitch is somewhat accurate on that. I think the grade actually drops to about 4 feet down, so only about, so it'd be about 4 feet of foundation showing with 4 feet below ground at the furthest away.
You gonna do any gravel or other treatment under there, just?
Under the deck, we probably will, yeah. Currently, we have like a pea gravel under it, and just to keep it,
Keep it from just being
Muddy.
mud.
yeah, keep the dog from tracking it everywhere.
Other than that, I did not have any questions.
Do we have anyone online still?
I would move to approve as submitted.
I'll second. Calling the roll, Carl Carlin,
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, back to our agenda. Let's wrap it up. Gotta go. Public comments, you're it? Nope. Building director, building official?
We have in there the proposed 2025 schedule. Hold on, I can pull it up. The only date we have of note is the June meeting falls on June 19th, and the offices are closed for Juneteenth. So if we get an application for that date, we will have to schedule a new meeting unless you are wanting to schedule that now, or able to schedule that now. Okay.
We'll let that happen when it,
Okay, when it happens. Okay.
And I'm sorry, I did forget, we do have one submittal for next month.
I'm not traveling till after Christmas, so are you? Okay.
Yeah, so also we are looking to, the H3 Studio met with all of the committees, and at first we thought we would have stakeholder groups meet. However, since we were hearing the same thing from all of the from all of the committees within the city, we're looking to do a more public open house on the residential development side on December 10th, from where people can, it's more informal, from 4:30 to 7:30, and people can come. Unless you feel like our residents would prefer a more formal setting, presentation first, but I think for this one, they were looking for a more informal feedback workshop kind of thing. It would be at the rec center on Tuesday, December 10th, if you can mark your calendar.
I might have a conflict. My phone isn't working, so I can't tell you, but that's,
And I might be out of town as well.
Okay,
I haven't booked air travel yet, but I have out-of-town meetings. We'll see. Give me a day or two to sort that.
okay.
And I'm not entirely sure what my thoughts on that would be yet. So,
Okay.
My thoughts would be to move it a week,
Like it's, okay.
or at least till like Thursday. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, okay, I'll check with the H3 Studio, but
Yeah.
kind of, since they're already behind schedule, we were kind of wanting to get this going again.
yeah, there's
I
probably
agree
some
with that part, but
Yeah,
some purposefulness to how it's presented, I think, is important.
agreed.
well, yeah. I mean, they would have examples like workshop and discussion points, but it'd be more informal. But I can talk with the H3 Studio. Instead of us sit down for 2 hours, like a presentation kind of setting.
Can we develop some thoughts and send those to you? Would that be okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
But I will need them soon.
Totally fair.
Okay.
If that's it, then I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.